This is day 221 of the Arukh HaShulchan OC. Today we are doing Siman Kuf Nun Ches, Sif Tes Zayin, the Siman Kuf Nun Tes, Sif Gimel. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, it would be very greatly appreciated. Please contact me directly. Let's see, Kuf Nun Tes is going to be a long Siman. Okay, Tes Zayin. When you wash your hands, take the vessel in your right hand, put it in your left hand, and wash your hand first. And you always give honor to the right side. The Mishabur adds, when you wash your hands, you're supposed to wash your hand, the right hand first, so that the left will service the right. Back to Arukh says another reason given by the Magen Avraham. According to that which held the mitzvahs baruch overly asiyasan, all mitzvahs make a bracha upon them before we do the mitzvah. You should have made a bracha on washing before you wash your hands. That is not the custom. Make the bracha after washing. On this is the primary halacha. Because most times, and yodam nekios, his hands are not clean. We have a cloud. You can't make a bracha with dirty hands. Therefore, even though occasionally, even when his hands are clean, lo pluv didn't make a distinction. Furthermore, the Gam also when you make a bracha after washing, it's also still making a bracha before the full performance of the mitzvah. You are making the bracha before you rub your hands with each other. That's the normal way of people when they're washing. So it's like before they're doing the mitzvah. Koshkim certainly in notel b'pam rishon apachas mervius. If the first time you pour water on your hand it's less than 3.3 ounces, so then adayin lo nitaru, they're not really tor until after the second pouring. Moshe's bar like is going to be explained in Kufsan above. And then you can make the bracha before the second time, and that's over l'siyosan. I don't think people actually have this minhag to make a bracha between the first and second washings. Mishnah Berurah says, bring the Shibali Lekane Rabbeinu Meir, that the minhag is to make the bracha after washing before drying, as we shall see, and that is the minhag olam. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. Even made the bracha completely after washing since you're making bracha before drying, it is before the full performance of the mitzvah. Because the drying is also impediment in fulfilling the Tzilas Nayim. Like it says in the beginning, anybody eats without drying his hands, as if they're eating tamei bread. That should be careful to fully wipe your hands dry. Because the this is primarily because of the tomb of the water, as we shall see in the next sif. When you wash with a lot of water the first time, when you wash the first time with a lot of water, they're no longer Tamatame. Mishnah Berurah says that the Marshal disagrees and holds that the primary reason to dry is because of repugnance, and therefore makes a difference if you report a revius at one time or not. It's just when you do hatbolas yadayim, as we shall see, dipping your hands in water, you don't require drying. And most Acharonim agree with this, and the Arukh HaShulchan will come back to this in the following sif. In any event, as the Arukh HaShulchan says here, and also in the river, you do not need to do drying, even if the Mishnah Berurah agrees to that point. We never saw that one eats with wet hands. It's disgusting. Therefore, the drying is part of the mitzvah. When you make the bracha before the drying, it's before the complete performance. And this is the widespread minhag, and one should not deviate from this minhag. Bir Alocha says if somebody wants to make a bracha before Natila, if his hands are clean, he can make a bracha. But you should be careful that they are clean, so it's appropriate that the place is clean, that it's appropriate to make a bracha there. So your washing is not necessarily always where you're drying. You should make sure the place you're washing is a place which is clean. In general, this is a methodological issue which we've noticed already many times, is that the Arukh HaShulchan is more inclined to defer to the Minhag HaPashut, whereas the Mishnah Berurah is more willing to entertain and personal chumrah. Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan. We shall you got to make a bracha before you dry your bracha afterwards. Come over tefillah, just like by tefillah, by in the mikveh. Shem mevareches that the woman makes the bracha achar tefillah after going to the mikveh. Come for your day simresh should. You will simresh. Yesh is one of those that say the achar nigov lo yivarech after drying one's hands, one may no longer make the bracha. Come on, moti. It's like you can't say moti achar shekamar sauce when you finish eating. That is the Taz. The Arukh HaShulchan rejects this. He says, it's not comparable. There, he could have shown it was appropriate to make a mamotzi previous to the meal. It was suitable to make the bracha, and then he pushed it off. You don't come back to it again. You don't become suitable again. As opposed to Barov and Atilos, in most cases of washing, it was not in a suitable state to make the bracha ahead of time. So he's pushed aside from before, from the get-go. And we hold in the entire shas the lav shmei dichui. And when you pushed off from beforehand, you never roy, then that's not called a dichui. It's interesting. I never saw this application here till Sedayim. I'm sure it's just because I never that's halacha, but it's fascinating. The great Achronim, Avraham, and Eliyarab agreed that can make the bracha afterwards. And Mishnah Berurah says that the Taz is machmir, as we saw, that after drawing you should not make the bracha anymore. And even though Lamaisa, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't conduct yourself like the Taz, because many Achronim, because most Achronim agree with the Ramah. Nevertheless, you have to be very careful about this. And therefore, you have to be very careful with that which people have a minute that they say, Suya Dechem Kodesh, and they continue to say that, which curtails them from saying until after they have dried their hands, and that is not appropriate. Back to the Shulchan. You can't go back and break the bracha this time. To have a kick fires of mana, it's like its time has passed. So he started a new thing. The Bir Alocha says that the Shulchan Balatanya sounds that even if even if you haven't eaten yet, after you made the bracha, Amot can't make it till it's 9. And so the Mishnah Berurah says that if you've forgotten to make Amot before drying your hands, you still make a bracha out this time afterwards, since the Natila was not yet complete. Because somebody who eats without drying hands as if they're eating tamei bread. The brackets in the Arukh HaShulchan. Sometimes it's hard to comply with this, but this is the halacha. You're not supposed to wipe your hands on your garment or on your shirt, because it causes forgetfulness. If you are makbid on davar shibul mashke and saying the beverage, and they brought you immediately after Birkas Hamazon, you don't require Tilas Dayan because you're still linked to the Tilas Dayan before the meal. The Prima is not sure, but specifically the chaluk, the outer garment, which is a problem to wipe your hands on all of its begadim. Yuches, Hamat Bil Yodav, somebody who dunks his hands. Yochel Medina Lechel B'lo Negiv. We can eat according to strict law of law without drying his hands. Shalom Yadayim, because the hands do not become tamei. Not sure what he means by that. I guess they became Torah, and I don't know what he means by that. Lichor Gam B'Shover Revius V'Asachas Al Yodav would seem that also. It's a typo, or it's not to be understood that way. It's because Shalom Eat Mu'abayim, because the water never became tamei, so you didn't have to. There's no chashash to dry it off. This is what he says when you pour a revius in one shot. Water never become tamei, so you don't need niguv. Nevertheless, because they know does not true. That niguv hu tikkun chacham, and drying is part and parcel of the takana. That no matter how you wash, you have to dry your hands. Although by tefillah you do not. Even when you dunk your hands, it's also repugnant. In Dr. Kotzelov, if he's sensitive, it's not going to have to dry. Rabbeinu says, if you spill a vias in one shot on both your hands, or vias kolyat, or one vias on each hand, have a kamatbil, it's like donkey hands, and Trump does not require niguv, it's like drying. Most Achronim disagree with this. What bracha should you make when you toivel your hands? Is bar of sof simar kufnun test. We're going to find out much later at the end of kufnun test, which is we're up to now. Kufnun test. Basically, nothing with dime case and nothing. With what vessel do you wash your hands, and how do you wash? Aleph eino lim yadayim el b'kli sholim. We only wash hands with a whole keli, which is whole. Now, fear me mechatos. You have for the water for paraduma to be in a keli that requires a vessel. Like it says, Maim Chaim El Keli, live waters into the vessel. Kiddush Yadayim Raglayim, and also when a Kohen washes his hands and feet in the base of Mikdash, Binaganke Keli, you also need a vessel. Kiyar, such as the Kiyar, which held the water, or something similar. But furthermore, a person's table is in lieu of a Mizbeach, as it says in the end of Chagiga. Just like prior to avoid on his Mizbeach, you have to sanctify your hands from the kiyar. So to cut him achiloso before he eat yikari short by the keli. You have to sanctify your hands via vessel. Now Mesachos Yadayim. You learned in Mesachos Yadayim kechol bechol keli and Yadayim with all vessels you can wash your hands. Even with a vessel made out of dung, bechli avonim out of stone, bechli adama out of earth. Even though it's not considered to be kalim in terms of being makabel tuma, nevertheless. The final analysis, they are kalim. What do we care if you makabel tum or not? Base, in terms of a hole in the vessel. Ipocelis, if it renders the keli unfit for natila. So, and how big is the hole which makes it possible? There's confusion among the poskim. Therefore, we have to start from scratch in the source and explain this halacha. A vessel which has a hole which allows a beverage to enter from outside the keli into inside, ain't no limit that you can't wash with it. If we're going to say that the reason is because this type of hole makes the keli no longer a keli in terms of tumah, in other words, tumah falls off it, the meneka because then nitar a keli, because in such a size hole the vessel becomes tar. Commotion in the Rambam Perak Vam Bibrachas Din Yahav such a scene of the Rambam. Shekasa became Shnishbru vessels are broken. Shvira Matara so some Day Tuma, a breakage which renders them tar from Tuma. Ain't no slimbia you can't use to wash your hands. Nation should become Akal Shono. They are because they are broken kalim. Lois Kier Cloud Klayas Mashka, but the Rambam does not mention the shear that allows beverage in. Also, a pipe over there where it mentions that it allows beverage in. These by Siv Chav Test, and it's going to explain later on. And Rambam wrote it there. He didn't mention this Konet Mashke standard. But near it seems clear. This relay that he holds the time of the Rava. The reason Rava's reason the neck of the time bituma is because with this hole it becomes tar from tuma. Davi kashever keli, and therefore it's like a broken vessel. But if that's the case, it's only true about a pottery vessel, which is specific for the purpose of beverages. Like Rav himself said, Shabbos, there are 5 measures by a vessel of pottery. Once it gets a hole, the size which allows beverages in, it's tar, and you can from using it to make mechatos. It's no longer considered the whole vessel in terms of paraduma, whatever. But still, vessel in terms of being able to be machshir zroim if you pour water came from that keli on top of seeds or fruit. Ayin sham. Mashkiska koines mashka, that which you mentioned allows beverages in. This is the basic level of negating a kli. Kamosha Pirish Rashi Benida, Shomer Gershom Gamke. Kli Cheres, Shiura B'Kodesh Mashka. The Shiur of Kli Cheres, to nullify it, is the size of allowing beverages in. Pirish Rashi says, Pachel Shel Shiur Ma'abat L'Motzori Yaskeli. This is the minimum shear in order to negate it from the definition of a keli. Akal Shana. V'avagav the Begistra B'Kamotzi Mashke. Even though when we talk about a broken pottery shard, it is motzi mashke. It allows beverage that. That's a different case. So he broke a kli deliberately, not relevant to us. According to all this, this halacha applies by pottery vessels, which are specifically devoted for beverages. But if it's devoted for food, it holds normally not liquid but food. So then, shira nekev, then the shear of the hole is larger. Kamotzi zayis, it's like a hole which will allow olives to fall out. Kambur sham. If it's a wooden vessel, shira kamotzi rima, the shear is even larger, like one which allows pomegranates to fall out. And if it's a metal vessel, there are other measures. Kambur sham perik yudal, v'rama perik av mikelim. For Rav Samach, our Shurim Shani's Bar Mishnay's King. Rav evidently relied on those Shurim which are mentioned and listed. Shem Mishnay's doing call because Mishnay's are known for everybody. And just mentioned there for the first shear of plenty. Even though you did not mention that this specifically about pottery vessels. Even it's implicit as if it was explicit. Because it's well known that this shear of allowing liquids in only applies to earthenware, to pottery vessels. The Ram wrote the in a vessel which is broken, a breakage which makes a tar, it's impossible to Yadayim. Arukh HaShulchan says this seems to be the opinion of the smak. Shebi Torah brings down, and this is what he writes. Smak. If it's specifically designated for olives, Torah's kila. It says it Torah's keli, even if it has a neck of kikonis mashke. Mutzali told me many it's not to wash from it if it can contain revius. Actually, okay, what's the sides until it gets all those sides, which allows the olive to fall out. So, Mameshita Rambam. This is specifically the shit of the Rambam. But Turi Sigalo Beselosh, and Turi was not happy about it. He wrote, the Tuma. You can distinguish that specifically in terms of Tumah, the designation for olives works. But in terms of washing, Shashir Kakonis, Mashka, the shear is the amount which allows liquid in. Kavashika Bazar shear once it has hole. And this in this measure, Aino Chashu Okikeli, so into the Keli at Kalashana. Torah of Abshita, Shur Kakonis Mashka Maraba, Al Kokin. According to that the shear of Kakonis Mashka is on all vessels. In the Tumah. So therefore, this is not the same, it's not correlated to Tumah or Halacha. Shitas Ram told you Bazeh Bazeh, because Ram they are linked to each other. You have to see, like we explained, with God's help, and with God's help, we will see much more of this tomorrow.